Hi everyone, it's Adam here from Ads Productions, and this is the review of the EZVIZ C6T security camera. What do you get in the box? Well, you get the device itself, the base, a power cable, a drill template, a screw kit, a power adapter, and a quick start guide. There isn't a whole lot in this box because there's not meant to be. This is meant to be one of those devices you take out of the box, you put it on your network, and you're good to go. Here's how to set this camera up. First of all, take out the power cable from the box, connect it to the camera, and then to any main socket that you have. When the camera is fully powered up, at this stage you should see a red and blue LED flash alternatively on and off. This means that it's ready to begin the setup process. This is a good sign. The next step in this process is to take out your phone, go to the relevant app store and search for the term EZVIZ. That's EZVIZ. You need to go ahead and download this so that it can appear on your home screen. Okay, now open that app that you've just downloaded. When you're at the main screen of this app, click on the New User Registration button at the bottom. The reason why we have to make an account here is so that we have a central place for you to manage and view and just access most of the functions within your camera suite. It's a central point of management for your devices. That's all it is. In order to start and set up and add devices, we need to get one of these created so that we can then follow the setup process of the EZVIZ camera itself. You can register with either your email address or phone number, but for demo purposes, I've just gone ahead and registered with an email address. Once you've filled out your email address and your country and your custom password, click on Next. After this, you'll be asked to prove that you are in fact who you say you are. It's going to email you a code which you then need to enter into this next window. Once you've entered the correct code, you should see a success message and a new window appear. Now that we have the account configured, let's go ahead and add a camera to the app so that we can monitor and maintain it. From here you have two options. The first option that I'm going to go through is scanning the QR code. The QR code can either be found on the quick start guide or on the bottom of the device. Click on Scan QR code to begin. Then hover your phone's viewfinder over the QR code and let it detect it. When it is detected, you should see a serial number appear of the detected camera. You can then confirm this is correct and it is the right device by just matching the serial number on the bottom compared to what you see on your phone. If this is correct, then let's proceed. You will then need to click on Connect to a Network. When you have clicked on this button on the screen, you will then see some details about the camera. It also hits you with some information saying things like make sure your phone's connected to the Wi-Fi network that we're going to be using, make sure that your network is up and running in the first place, make sure the devices are on, etc, etc. It's just a warning and a clarification for you to make sure everything is on and ready to go. As well as making sure your phone's Wi-Fi is on and all the rest of it, at this point in the video I think it's important to mention that this camera uses the 2.4 GHz band on your router. Don't try and connect this to a 5 GHz band, just the 2.4. That's the way it was designed to work with, and that's the way we're going to use it, just to let you know. Also, if you're interested, the reason for this is because a 2.4 GHz band is designed to travel further distances in comparison to the stronger but shorter ranged 5 GHz. Okay, where were we? Once you're happy with what you see and you've confirmed that all is well, hit Next. At this window, we now have to enter the Wi-Fi password of the Wi-Fi access point you are currently connected to. The reason for this is simple. We're going to push this to the camera to allow it to connect on its own. Once you've entered it, press Next. Now you need to make sure that your phone is on loud, the volume is turned all the way up, and on maximum. The reason for this is because we're going to play a sound clip that's going to contain your Wi-Fi access code that you've just typed in. You're then going to hold it near your camera and play it to allow it to pick it up and transfer to it. Sounds crazy, but trust me, it does work. When prompted, click on the Play Sound button that you see on the screen. Keep it playing for a few seconds near your camera, and after a few seconds, you will see a message that's confirming that it's configuring the camera. Once you've played the sound against the camera, you will then see a window pop up that says Device Setup. This is there so that you can change a few of the settings, such as whether or not to enable audio or configure the time zone on the display. When you're happy with what you see, press View Device. At this stage you will now see a little preview picture or a thumbnail that will display a preview of the connected camera. The area that you're seeing now within the app is the main area where you can view the camera live, where you can choose to take snapshots, where you can choose to record, move it left and right, etc, etc. Tap on the preview image that I just mentioned, and if you start to see a moving picture or a live picture of your camera, then congratulations, you've successfully configured the camera. If for some reason you can't get the QR code to work, then you can also use the serial number that's on the bottom of the camera. At the beginning stage when we were setting this up, where we clicked on QR code, instead we would just click on the serial number. Once you then enter the serial number and then press next, you will then be asked to identify the camera that you're using. This will be a selection of pictures on the screen. Just click the one that's most relevant to the product that you have. In this case, you can clearly see the C6T right in the center of the screen. Once you've selected the one that most resembles your camera, you can then choose between Wi-Fi and wired. Wired will just make you connect it to your router so that it can get onto your network and do the settings that way, but for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to use the Wi-Fi. When you click Wi-Fi, basically it gets to the same place, just a slightly different way. If all else fails, you can also generate your own QR code and then hold it in the front of the camera, and the camera will detect it with the same information on. So again, another method of getting to the same place. So to put a long story short, plug the security camera into power, download the EZVIZ app, scan the QR code or any other means of connecting the device, and then your camera will go through a short wizard and connect. This is extremely simple and works very well. I didn't find personally that I had to use any of the alternative setup methods, but who knows, you might have a different experience. But I can safely say it works well, the setup is quick, and the setup is simple. And as you've seen from the previous few minutes, there are other alternatives should you encounter problems. Okay, let's talk tech. So this features a 1920 by 1080 resolution. You can also pan up to 340 degrees. You can also tilt 90 degrees. You can get up to 128 gigs of local storage, depending entirely on the micro SD card that you put in the back. The dimensions are approximately 90 by 100 millimeters. That's 3.54 inches by 3.94 inches. The total weight is around 220 grams. If you want to take still pictures with this camera, you can get up to 2 megapixels. If you don't want to rely on local storage, you can choose to use the EZVIZ cloud storage, but please note that this comes at a price. I will now go over the key features of this camera that will allow you to decide whether or not this is for you. You can use this camera day or night. The reason for this is because at night you can enable the infrared mode, which allows you to see up to 10 meters. That's 32.8 foot. The night vision worked well overall. The only time that it struggled slightly was in the early evening, when it was trying to decide whether it was dark enough to activate or whether it was too bright outside to warrant using it. However, when I needed it at night, so past 8 PM, when it actually got dark, the infrared worked flawlessly and I could see up to 10 meters clearly in my garage. Let's say, for example, you have the camera set up in your kitchen. This is often a communal area where multiple people will be going in and out of. There are times where you wouldn't want the camera to be recording. You can adjust this in the EZVIZ app with a click of a button. As soon as you press the privacy button or the mask, the camera goes straight up into its own enclosure, so that even if you tried to activate the camera, all you would see is a camera pointing at a plastic enclosure. A good idea for the more security and privacy conscious people. If you want to, you can turn on motion tracking so that any time the camera picks up any form of movement, which by the way, its sensitivity can be adjusted so that every time a small bird flies past, it won't trigger an alert. Anyway, anytime it senses any movement, you can make it so that you get a notification on your phone. So a good example where this will come in handy, let's say you're out and about at a friend's house or at a beach or somewhere like that, and then the camera picks up movement. You can make it so that your phone will vibrate or play a sound alerting you to the fact. Most of the time it will be nothing, it will just give you that peace of mind to log in and see that everything is a-okay. On the other hand, you can use it to spot the intruders. This is a really essential feature that you'll be using a lot, and I do hope that it's standard across multiple security cameras. You can press a button that will take a fully panoramic, that's all 340 degrees. It will take a whole picture of all of its surroundings. It's not the quickest process in the world, but it does give you the result that you need. And eventually when you have that picture of the surrounding area, you can tap on the picture anywhere on the picture and the camera will fix to that position. Let's say that you take that 340 degree picture and at the bottom right far corner of the screen of the picture that you've taken, there is a particular place that you want it to focus on. All you have to do is tap on that place on the image and the camera will move there. I'm not sure how much you'll end up using this, but it's nice to know that you have it just in case you want a snapshot of the right here, right now that the camera sees. Pan and tilt. The controls work really well when you open it in the app. Moving left, moving right, moving up, moving down, all seems to work very well. You will notice that due to being over Wi-Fi and over a network in general, it is not an instant reaction from the left and right, up and down, and any movement that you choose to do. I expected this from the get-go. I just thought I'd let you know just in case you expect immediate feedback. It's not a game changer. It works very well. Don't be put off by this. This is how they are with networked cameras. Two-way audio is also on here so that you can press a button on the app wherever you are and dial straight into the camera so that you can say, hey, get out of my house, or what are you doing in my garage, or please make sure you close the door behind you when you've stolen my TV. Any of those, two-way audio is perfect for. When you press the two-way audio button, it will dial for like a second or so. Press and hold, say what you want to say to the other end, and then when you release your thumb from the button, you should be able to hear it on the preview on your phone, providing that you have the volume turned up. When playing around with the camera, moving it left and right and anywhere you want to go, you can also zoom in. There are 3 levels of zoom. You just use the magnifying glass with the plus in it, you tap it 3 times and it will alter the level of zoom. Upon general use of this camera, as well as the initial setup, there will be a range of different LED lights on the front of it. Those indicate certain things and it's good to know them, so here they go. The blue flicker means that the network is correctly connected. A solid red one means the device is activating. A slow red flicker means that you have an invalid network connection. A fast red flicker means that the micro SD card or other error has occurred. A fast red flicker means that you have a micro SD card or some other error. An alternating blue and red flicker means that the camera is ready for the Wi-Fi setup. Probably one of my favourite features in this camera is the timeline app. Providing you have a micro SD card in the camera, every time it captures something, it will log it in chronological order, meaning that you can go back for months and months to exact dates and times and view it in a timeline window so that you can easily navigate who was where and when. You select the date that you're interested in, you can see the timeline along the bottom, you select the area or the time that you're interested in, and you will see on the display the exact footage that it captured. It makes navigating your recorded footage a breeze. So long as you have the EZVIZ app and some form of network connection, be it Wi-Fi, 3G or 4G, you can be anywhere and check in on your cameras. As you can see on the screen now, I went to a waterfront to film some elements of this video. I pulled out my phone, I logged into EZVIZ and I could see my cameras and I can control them. For the price that you're going to pay for this, which is not much, this is very valuable and worth its weight in gold. There are elements of the app that aren't the most usable. When I was searching for certain things like various settings, they weren't in the obvious places, meaning that you might have to look a little bit harder to find what you're looking for within the app, which I think they could improve on slightly. But again, for the price that you're paying, a slightly clunky app here and there isn't too much to write home about, and it wouldn't be something that put me off buying this camera. Within the app itself, you have support for multiple cameras, so if you want to buy a few of these, as long as you set them up correctly and link them to the same account, you can go through multiple different cameras, name them each individual thing, and you can track and maintain them from wherever you are, meaning that you can have your own little security center in the palm of your hand. The two-way audio isn't the loudest in the world. I found myself turning the volume way up, I found myself being in a quiet room, and it still wasn't that loud. It gets the point across, you can hold down the button, you can speak, and they can hear you, just don't expect it to be overwhelming or loud because it really isn't. It's a cool feature though. Overall then, this camera is very simple to set up, it's great value, it's 340 degree pan and 90 degree tilt, make it a versatile camera for use in most situations, whether it be small office or home. This, combined with the motion tracking and alerts to your phone, really does mean it has you covered in whatever scenario you decide to put it in. And I really do think these pros overlook the small cons that are the two-way audio and the slightly clunky application. Please note that in a few weeks on my channel you will see a video for an alarm system that works well with this camera, so subscribe, stay tuned, and you'll see that video before too long. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Adam from Ads Productions with the review of the EZVIZ C6T security camera.